Good morning. My name is Rabbi Wyne, and I want to welcome you to Life is Great, where every Sunday we get together, we explore another universal value that is derived from Judaism to help you get the most out of your life. What is the most important thing to have in your life? It's a big question, and there are many things that are in the running. First thing is money, Money is I'd certainly much rather have money than not have money, but just go ask a lot of wealthy people. Some of them are not so happy how much the money helps them. Or better yet, you can even ask people that say won the lottery and then find out that a lot of them are less happy after they won the lottery than they were before the lottery. But love, love, I value the love relationships I have with my family, my friends, all of you in a tremendous way. But at the same time, if we don't have what we're going to discuss in a few moments, you know what? The love relationship simply won't stick. You think about health. Everybody needs health. Everybody needs it. But if we don't have what I'm going to share with you, you know what? The health won't help you very much. And even happiness. Listen, who wants to be unhappy? We're all striving. We're pursuing happiness. At the same time, if we don't have what I'm going to share with you, it's not going to help you very much. So I want to go around. I went to our favorite coffee bean, and I asked some of you what you thought was most important in your life. What do you really need? What do you desire more than anything else? Let's take a moment and see what some of you had to say about it. What is the most important value for a person to have?
An important value is, I would probably just say making sure that they take care of their family and friends. And you don't have to do that financially or anything, but just try to be there for people and be there for just everything. Like in work, you should try to be there as best as you can.
Where do you get your values from?
My parents, and I go to church.
How do you know if your value is correct? Or maybe you're just kind of like messing up?
I feel like your relationships are going to be, people around you will feel it, and your relationships are going to hurt, and then also your life is not going to be going on the path. You're just not going to get the things that you want, even if it's getting paid what you want to get paid, or going to the movies if you want to go to the movies. If you're not doing what you should be doing, it affects everything in your life, even your relationships.
Beautiful. What do you think is one of the most important values a person needs to have?
A life.
The value just to stay alive.
Okay. Yeah.
If someone has a value that their whole life is about making money, how do you know if that's a correct value? Or maybe a person should sacrifice making money and stay at home and raise children. Which one's a correct value?
Well, it's different for everyone because everyone has their own opinions. I think good value would be something that you're doing good, something positive. So as long as something positive is going to come out of it, then hopefully it's a good value, I guess.
What's the most important thing in everybody's life? Well, I have an answer for you. And the answer may surprise you because it's not exciting at all. The most important thing that any of us can have is good values. Good values. Now, think for a minute, why a good value? Well, I'll share with you. If you don't have the right values, then even your health, it's not going to help you. If you don't have good values, you won't be able to maintain the love relationships you have. If you don't have good values, then even if you have money, so who knows where is it going to go? Back in the old days, we remembered people like Darryl Strawberry. Oh, they got a lot of money, but didn't help them. If anything, it harmed them. The problem with values is that many times we aren't clear what our values are. We're not clear where we get them, and we're not even clear how to implement them in our lives. Reminds me of a story of there was one time a Jewish man. He was an atheist. He had some kid and wanted to send him to the best school around. So it happened to be that a lot of his coworkers and colleagues, they sent the kids to a Catholic school. So I picked up, said, hey, sonny boy, you're going to that Catholic school. Well, boy comes home and he says, so what'd you learn? He goes, well, Dad, I learned about the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. He said, what are you talking about? He goes, Dad, that's what they taught me in school. He goes, listen, let's get one thing straight. There's only one God, and we don't believe in him. Now, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to help this kid, you know. What value are you teaching him? We have to be very clear what our values are and what is a value. So let me share with you. A value is something that you feel is more important than almost anything else. Let me again say this again. A value is something that you place more importance in than almost anything else. If it is the most important thing in your life, then that is your life value. It is your life goal. But if it's not the most important thing, then it's a strong value. Now, if you want to live with good values, you must place your values ahead of your feelings. See, values are the essence of free will, and our ability to compartmentalize our feelings and our values to not do necessarily what we feel like doing, but to do what we want to do. That will be the essence of our free will and the essence in terms of how to live a very successful life. In other words, you have to make a distinction between what you feel and what you value, what you hold as important. Let me just give you a few examples. All of us feel like eating junk food because junk food's really great. Who doesn't like to come home one day and kind of get lost in a pint of ice cream? All right? The problem is that if you eat so much junk food, you become obese, become unhealthy, and so then you fight with another value. The value is looking good and feeling good. So which one's going to win out? I feel like doing this one, but in the end, I realize that living a healthy life, healthy choice would be more valuable. It would be better for me. See, these values become more important when this conflict of what I feel like doing and what I want to do becomes more important when it begins to affect other people. Imagine you're driving down the freeway and you have your small son in the back of the car and someone cuts in. So what do you want to do? You might feel like cursing at them, yelling at them, giving them some kind of signal to let them know of your displeasure that they are an overly aggressive driver. But at the same time, you have a value of being a good example for your son. So you hold back a little bit. That's an example of, wait a second, I feel like doing something, but I know if I do it, then I might not be the best example for my son, in which case I have to override my feelings and I have to live according to my value. I'll give you one that'll maybe cause you to think for a moment. You know, you have your favorite dog, Old Yeller, right? You've grown up with your dog. You go out to the beach and you see, lo and behold, Old Yeller climbed on a boat. The boat capsized. 100 yards out, Old Yeller looks like she's drowning. It just happens to be at the same time, 100 yards over there, there's a stranger, a person who you've never met. He's also drowning. Now you have a choice. You can go save one of them, but not both of them. Which one are you going to go save? Now, all of us are going to feel like going to save Old Yeller, right? We want to save our dog. He's the one I grew up with. But if you are like me and you value human life, you probably do, then you'll say, wait a second, I have to go out and I've got to save that stranger. Now, you value human life more than animal life, probably because you might eat animals or wear animal products, and you probably do not eat humans nor wear human products. But at the same time, you realize over here that that is a value that is important, and it will affect you in many ways. Because once I say I value human life, then I have to say why. And ultimately, we value human lives because a human being is created, as we say in the Torah, B'Tselem Elokim, in the image of God. Well, if I'm a little real with that, I'm going to look at a person and say, well, you know, what does it mean he's in the image of God? And what if that person doesn't act so godly? They're still created in the image of God, so either it means they're not acting the way they could be acting, or maybe God is not the God that I think he is. Chances are I probably know who God is, and chances are I may be able to help that other person with the right words and the right encouragement behave how they should behave if I remember they're created in the image of God. If I think that that person is just another animal, then maybe I'll give up on them very quickly. But if I feel they're in the image of God, I won't give up on them very quickly at all. Of course, all of this is fine and dandy, right? Now that we know we have to distinguish between what we feel like doing and what we want to do, between how we feel like acting and how we actually have to take our values and say this is more important. The question is really, how do we develop the discipline in order to do such a thing? So, a person has to stop for a moment. And if you look into the Torah, one of the great people who affected humanity, perhaps more so than anyone else in the entire universe, was Abraham. And Abraham was known in the Torah as Avraham HaIvri. He was Avraham, the one who crossed over. What did he cross over? Now, technically, when you read the Torah, he crossed over a river. But it actually means that he was morally independent. That what was so special about Avram? The whole world was over here, and he was over there in a sense of morality. That we know that Avraham grew up, and his father was one of the greatest, not only an idolater, but an idol salesman. And the Medrash, part of our oral Torah, our tradition that was handed down to us from Moses at Mount Sinai, tells a fascinating story about how one day Avraham realized there was only one God, and his father left him to take charge of the store. And Avraham said, I got to convince my father that there's only one God. So what happened was his father went out. Avraham took a club and bashed every single idol in the entire store. And then, except for one, the biggest one. Then he took the club and he put it inside the idol's hand. When his father, Terach, showed up, he said, "Hey, what the heck happened over here?" So Avram said, "Don't ask me, he did it." So what are you talking about? That's a piece of clay. Whereupon Avram said, "Dad, let your ears hear what your eyes see and what your mouth is speaking. It's a piece of clay. That piece of clay that you created could not have created you, could not have created the universe, and therefore that is just an idol." You have to realize how brave was Avraham. In a world that everyone worshipped idols, Avram said, "No, I'm going to stop and I will do the right thing because I know what is right." And not only that, but the king of his day, this evil man by the name of Nimrod, took Avram and wanted to make an example of this troublemaker. He took him and said, "Avram, you are going to renounce this belief in one God, this belief that one should not worship idols, and you're going to bow down in front of me, or bow down in front of another idol and say that that idol has the power, or I will throw you into a fiery furnace." Avram, as the story is told, said, "Listen, I will not renounce my beliefs." And yes, he was thrown in a fiery furnace only to be saved. Now, let's be clear. I'm not promising you that if you have certain convictions and you're willing to go against society, then God will perform miracles for you and save you like he did Avraham. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that if a person has a true intellectual clarity, five-finger clarity, like I know I have 5 fingers, on what is right and what is wrong, then they will have the strength to do that which is right. The Torah teaches us something that my father repeated to me over and over in my life, that if you do the right thing, you cannot lose. And that, my friends, is really the essence of free will. Free will is being able to say, I'm not going to go and do what I feel like doing. I'm going to go after my good values. Where do we get those values from? We'll talk about in a little bit. But for now, a person has to remember that we all have feelings, we all have values, things that we place that are more important in life. And if we allow our lives to be led by our values and not our feelings, then we open ourselves up to all sorts of blessings. My name is Rabbi Wyne. Please stay with me here on Life is Great, and we will be back in just a moment with more and the Rabbi's Inbox, where you will have an opportunity to send your questions to me, and I will always answer them, but I might even answer them right here on the program. I I am Wyne, the rabbi of Young Israel Aish of Las Vegas, a wonderful, welcoming community that I would like to introduce you to today. One of the things that's really unique about an Orthodox synagogue, and I think Young Israel Aish in particular, is that not only do I know everybody's name, I know your dog's name. It's really about a personal relationship, about everyone should have a relationship with a rabbi. Judaism teaches us that every person needs a rabbi, you need a friend, and you need a student to really get the fulfillment of wisdom, to really understand what life is about. I'm always explaining the concepts in the Torah, in the Bible, explaining Jewish values and challenging people to understand what those values are. All the wealth God gives me is really in order that I should benefit others. Spreading Jewish values, positive universal values. Those are the things that have led us to have a YouTube channel that has more than 250,000 views on it. It's the weekly radio show, the Rabbi Show, with its own unique website. We do trips to Israel every single year. But my rabbi told me the most important commandment is to live life with joy as much as possible. Because if you have joy and enthusiasm and passion about life, if you really feel the Almighty's love at every corner, so then you will have the direction and the enthusiasm and the energy to fulfill all of the other commandments. And it came to pass, when Yitzhak had become old and his eyes dimmed from seeing, everybody has something they want. When you step into the world of Young Israel Aish, and you are welcomed by the right kind of community for you, so then all of a sudden you have support. You have support in terms of your personal growth, your spiritual growth. You have people you can share the good times with in your life, and people who you can share the difficult times in your life. And the result that we've seen over and over again is the people who become part of our community, they just have a much greater sense of life fulfillment. They have a sense of friendship, of connection with community, of connection with others. When you walk in that door, you will be greeted with a smile and come straight up to me and say hello. You don't have to be bashful or shy. No one else around here is. You just walk up, say hello, introduce yourself to me. So I really hope that any person that, whether they read the book, they listen to the radio show, they come to Young Israel Aish, whether it's every single day or once a year, that they acquire a piece of wisdom that forever enhances and enriches their lives.
Hello, my name is Leora, and I am a huge fan of Rabbi Wyne and the Life is Great TV show and the Rabbi Wyne's radio show as well. There is so many truths, there's so many values, there's so many things you can learn from these, things that the Rabbi shares with us, derived from Judaism, that we can take into our lives and implement them and share with other people and help improve our lives and the lives of those around us. And you can help sponsor the Rabbi and help the spreading of these values by going to www.rabbishow.com. And we hope that you continue to watch and that maybe one day you'll even come here and see Young Israel Aish. I'm happy to support the Rabbi Show, and I know you'll be too. And just go to www.rabbishow.com, and there you'll find out all the bunch of more information, and you can donate there too.
Do you know someone who needs a little more happiness in their life? Maybe it's you who needs more happiness in your life. Yes, you've seen the Life is Great TV show, you perhaps have heard the Rabbi Show, but now it's time to get Life is Great, Revealing the 7 Secrets to a More Joyful You. This book was something tangible that you can give your friends and family, where they can keep by their bedside, take it on vacation, leaf through it page at a time or chunk of pages at a time, and each time they will learn another secret, another tool that they can use in order to get the absolute most out of life. What better present can you give your friends and family than the wisdom to live a better life? Welcome back to Life is Great, and I want to welcome you to this particular segment, which we call the Rabbi's Inbox. Now, here is where you have the opportunity to send me a question, whatever is on your mind, and I will get back to you with an answer. And if I think it's appropriate, then I will even read it right here and answer it for everyone on this show. All right, the first one came in on the phone. It says, "Dear Rabbi, I'm involved with a guy who I love a lot, and he loves me. However, some of his values are not mine, and vice versa. My questions are, how do I know which of our values should be the same and which can be different? We are two individuals after all." All right, so when it comes to a relationship, you have to know that, again, we have to define what marriage is. Marriage is when two people commit to spend their lives together in order to accomplish shared common goals, life goals. So a life goal is something that if you would not fulfill it, it would deeply disturb you at the end of your life. A life goal for you might be to travel or to grow spiritually, to have children, to raise a family. If it's just a goal like, or a value like, I like to drive BMWs and you like more modest cars, that kind of thing can be worked out. That kind of thing you can talk about. But if it's a life goal, if it's a value that overrides almost everything else, then those are the two things that you really have to have a discussion and work out in a very big way. What is your attitude towards money? What is your attitude towards family, towards religion? These are values that will have many consequences. They're streamlined. They are not so streamlined, but they're actually decisions that will cause you to make many, many more decisions. If you're dealing with values that are pretty streamlined and they don't cause you to make a multitude of decisions, those things you can differ on greatly, and you can still stay connected because of your mutual attraction and appreciation with each other. But if it's a value that will cause you to make many other decisions, again, values regarding religion, values regarding money, values regarding morality, so then those things you really need to be on the same page if you're going to share your life together. Okay, the next question is, "Dear Rabbi, my teenage daughter has chosen to spend her time with the most trashy kinds of friends. She even agrees that they are not the best kind of people, but won't choose others. What can I say to convince her to make better choices in the people she hangs out with?" Okay, so we have to explain to your daughter, first of all, you're very fortunate that she agrees with you that they are trashy. That is a blessing, because most times people who hang out with others, they will defend their friends to the end. So the fact that she's with you a little bit and recognizing that these are not the best kinds of people, so then that in and of itself is a little bit of a win. But we have to ask your daughter, where does she get her values from? See, chances are she doesn't know. But that's only because she hasn't really thought about it. I'll tell you where she gets them from. If we don't make a conscious decision to go after and develop our values, then we are subject to society thrusting its values upon us. I one time saw a billboard that said, it had a picture of a car, and it said, "A BMW, 3,500 pounds of life fulfillment." Now, again, you see that billboard enough times, you're going to think that that ultimate driving machine is life fulfillment, and that's a value. So most people have to remember that we become the people who we hang around. And you have to ask your daughter, do you really want to become those people? We adapt to our friends, or we make a decision to have certain values, and then we go out and we find friends that are more aligned with our values. So the first question is to have a values workshop with your daughter. What's important? You need to talk to her about sex. You need to talk to her about money. You need to talk to her about friendship. And she has to know that she will do a lot of conforming, much more conforming to the people she surrounds herself with than they will conform to her. But at the same time, give her inspiration. As I've spoken about many times before, the founder of the Jewish people was Abraham. And he merited to be the founder of the Jewish people because he was morally and spiritually independent. It starts with conviction, knowing and discussing what is right and why it is right, and then making a decision to influence others. All the while, she should have caution, knowing that she will pick up the bad attitudes and philosophies of the people she's hanging around. Okay? So I want to give you a blessing, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today in Life is Great. Welcome you, invite you to come back next week, same time, we'll be back. And also invite you to stay in there and listen to The Rabbi Show, which if you're in Las Vegas, you can catch it on AM 720 KDWN, or you can catch it anywhere in the world on therabbishow.com. And also, I want to invite you that if you are ever in Las Vegas, please join me at Young Israel Aish of Las Vegas. Swing on by, come up to me, introduce yourself. I promise we will make you feel right at home. And as always, wishing you a blessed week and a joyful week. I'm Rabbi Wyne. Thanks for being with me.
Want more wine? Turn your radio to AM 720 KDWN or go online to therabbishow.com to hear The Rabbi Show starting right after the news at 9 a.m.
You know, what's interesting is I've been with Rabbi Wyne. We've had learning sessions at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, or he's even told us that he's been out and about. He might be at the supermarket, at the dry cleaner. Wherever he is anymore, people are starting to recognize him, and from the TV show, or they hear his voice and they know that's the Rabbi Show. So we know he's reaching people. He's reaching people throughout Southern Nevada and beyond, clearly, but he's making a real difference. He's impacting lives. Other people, Jewish, non-Jewish, all different cultures and races, and because the values he is espousing are universal. They are for all of civilized humanity. And so his message is touching people. It's important that we help it connect and spread and touch more and more people wherever they live.
Go to therabbishow.com today. Make a donation, and Rabbi Wyne will send you a free Jewish calendar for the new year, along with his personal blessings. All donations are tax deductible and help us share positive values which make the world a better place for everyone.
When every conversation becomes an argument and you're at the end of your rope, there's hope. On Sunday evening, October 13th, join Rabbi Wyne and conflict resolution, mediation, and training professional Barbara Fenster and learn how to get along better at home and work. Learn practical techniques to help you restore peace in your relationships with family, friends, and coworkers. Space is limited, so make your reservations today for the October 13th Getting Along at Home and Work seminar, only at Young Israel Aish of Las Vegas. Go to yihlv.com or call 702-360-8909 today.